triumph, but it was I. Dio?
I'm sorry, the way you said it though. Oh! Hello everyone, welcome to that battle, DIO vs Alucard. I really hope I said that guy's name right. I'll be honest with you, I do not know anything about JoJo. Well, okay, technically no, but no joke. I've seen a few things about JoJo. Obviously the memes, but the first time I have ever seen JoJo, no joke, was when he was a baby and he pooped in the tub. You know what? Why not? Story time right now. Don't worry, this won't take too long. So one time, I just walked into my sister's room, and she was watching JoJo. No joke, I walked into the scene where he literally poops in the sink. And I'll be honest with you, I walked out immediately. I don't know what that was. Maybe somewhere in the comments can explain me the context, because to this day, I still have no idea why JoJo was a baby. Actually, I don't even know if it is JoJo. Who knows? But if there's any JoJo fans, maybe you can give me the context, because yeah, I have no idea what the hell was going on. Why was he a baby? Why did he poop in the tub? I honestly have no idea. Okay, anyway, Hellsing, I have no idea. I've never heard about this anime. Here we go!
Dio Brando, everlasting adversary of the Joestar bloodline.
Alucard, undying enforcer of the Hellsing organization.
Vampires, the spawn of nightmares.
Wait a minute.
From the blackest
Okay, I know this is very random. I could have swore I've seen that live action. Oh my goodness. Not this meme. I'm like 99% sure. I went to a Mexican restaurant and that was on the TV.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons,
Who knows though?
armor,
Maybe
and
I'm
skills to
mistaking
find
them.
out who would win a death battle.
Your experience with
Entire body
JoJo.
being subjected to sunlight,
Whenever I
you will
walked into the room, something
instantly
weird happens.
disintegrate.
So, what did Dio do? Well, he cut off his own head, killed Jonathan on his wedding night, and attached his head to JoJo's body. Wow, cake taken for sure.
After a brief century in a coffin at the bottom of the ocean, Dio resurfaced.
Okay, so
in
it's very
Egypt and
difficult to
tried
kill this
once
guy.
again to take over the world. His ultimate goal was to create a world where everyone knew their own fate and could make peace with the inevitable tragedies life had in store. In Dio's mind, heaven.
And he'd make it happen no matter how many breads he'd have to eat.
After being struck by a mystical arrow, sure, why not, Dio gained a stand, the embodiment of a user's life force. Since they're made of psychic energy, stands can only be seen by stand users, and can only be hurt by other stands. Quite the obstacle for any opponent lacking similar abilities.
Ow. Hey, look, Wiz, I got a stand. I call it
My man has a
99
mustache.
Bottles. Oh, don't worry, Wiz. I'll change you back with your Ooh, look, a giant beer.
No! Oh my goodness.
As befits a god among men, Dio received one of the most powerful stands in history.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
With its ability to stop time.
Time, huh? Thanks for the... Ow! Well, not only does his time stop get longer with each use, he can spam it as much as he likes.
Oh,
He's a
time
massive
stop.
Troll.
The world is absurdly strong and fast, able to match the stand Star Platinum, which belongs to Jonathan's great-great-grandson, Jotaro Kujo. He technically
Okay, I thought
inherited
JoJo
it
characters were
from
all like
Dio
memes and stuff.
through
No, they're
Jonathan's
actually like
body and
very
bloodline,
powerful.
making Star Platinum and the world the same stand.
And both are two of the strongest stands out there, just as strong as Stone Free, which can punch meteors that were pulled to Earth in seconds.
By measuring the distance the meteors are from Earth, we can estimate they were moving at over 11 million meters per second. Factoring in their mass, they'd each have a kinetic energy of 441 kilotons of TNT.
Not that crazy.
Wait, I
when you
forgot,
can
isn't there
throw
like a dog
punches
in
that are
JoJo?
faster than light? No, really, Star Platinum kept up with this stand, Silver Chariot, which could cut a beam of light.
Looking at the interval Silver Chariot's sword swung relative to the light beam, it must have moved over 1,500 times the speed of light. And Dio himself has matched Star Platinum on his own, and taken its punches head on.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to Dio's secret weapon, the greatest weapon in anime history. The Steamroller. Turns out
Where the
Dio's
heck did you
a
get
hell of
that
a
thing?
chef. He can make pancakes and donuts.
Even so, despite having a massive god complex, Dio's still a careful tactician capable of exploiting an opponent's weaknesses.
Too bad he wasn't prepared for Jotaro to learn how to stop time too and murder the out of him. That's some hardcore karma right there. But it only makes sense that a dog murderer would die like a...
But much like the machinations of great and terrible men,
Well then.
Dio's will was immortal. In time, his greatest follower succeeded in extinguishing the Joestar bloodline and literally remaking the universe in Dio's image, creating that heaven he always dreamed of.
I
Is that a
guess
well?
when you're named after a rock star,
What is my man doing in
movie
space?
Star, and, oh, that's right, God, you're pretty much bound for greatness.
You thought your first kiss would be JoJo, but it was I, Dio!
Yay, more beer!
Not again.
Just like me.
What up?
see.
Hellsing needed a beast as fearsome as Alucard to take on Millennium, aka Nazi vampires. That's like evil squared.
Like when Millennium SS Lieutenant Rip Van Winkle commandeered a British aircraft carrier as part of an invasion of London.
Alucard didn't like that very much, so he jackknifed it with an SR-71 Blackbird at Mach 3.
A fully loaded Blackbird weighs 170,000 pounds, meaning it's struck with a kinetic energy of 11 tons of TNT. That's as powerful as the US Massive Ordnance Air Blast.
AKA the mother of all bombs. And Al was in the middle of that and strolled out like it was nothing.
Just as impressive
Okay,
as
I'm not gonna lie, he looks
intercepting
sick there.
Rip's magic bullets. Comparing the distance one bullet moved to the jet in the same time frame as the jet's own movement, each bullet would have to be moving at 1,500 times the speed of sound.
And Alucard caught one with his friggin' teeth. And after giving Rip's name a new meaning, he drove that aircraft carrier back to shore with his mind to fight two separate armies at the same time. What a goddamn monster!
It goes without saying that Alucard's immense power and bloodlust needed to be controlled, so 6 restriction levels were placed on him that he can release against dangerous opponents.
Level 6 through 2 are for wrecking your ordinary ghouls. Level 1 is for your heavy-duty vampires, and for getting this gnarly demon doggo made from his shadow essence, Baskerville.
But there exists an even greater state of power Alucard can release when he wants to end the world. Level 0.
Once activated, Level 0 releases every single soul Alucard has consumed as a sea of blood-soaked zombies. All
Okay,
3
I'm not gonna
million
lie.
of them.
One, that
Sure,
is
with
cool.
his soul's gone, he can't
But,
heal as easily, and if his heart is destroyed, he'll die
Oh.
permanently. But the sheer numbers and power of this army from hell makes
Yeah,
him
I'm not gonna lie, I thought
virtually
Dio was going to win
impossible
for a moment, but,
approach in the first place.
He's unstoppable. This guy's
Yeah,
got
I don't
to
know
be
anymore.
Like the king of all vampires.
Indeed, he is. Hellsing purposely kept Alucard's true identity a secret, all in the codename. Alucard backwards is
Dracula? Yeah, duh, Wiz, idiot.
over
Well then,
500 years
good to
ago.
know.
The Wallachian voivode Vlad Dracula battled the Ottoman Turks for control over Eastern Europe, and
How many
impaled
animes has
thousands of
Dracula?
people in the process.
I swear, there's so many
Hence
shows
his
and,
historical name,
like I said, animes have
Vlad
just
the Impaler.
Dracula just casually
But
being there.
things didn't end up too good for him. Right before his execution, he took a big old sip of some blood from the battlefield, sacrificing his humanity in order to become an immortal creature of the night.
And that is when the legend was born. But it wasn't anything Dracula was proud of. He grew to despise his monstrous nature and saw it as cowardice. The main reason he hated other vampires so much was that he really hated himself.
Oh, that's deep, Wiz. Maybe that's why he always lets his enemies rip into him like a piñata of self-loathing. His crazy OP healing factor will fix everything anyways.
Millennium would exploit this arrogance by tricking Alucard into absorbing the soul and abilities of Schrödinger, a German cat boy who controls his own quantum state. This grants him pseudo-omnipresence and immortality. He can exist everywhere and nowhere, and cannot die so long as he can recognize his own existence.
But because Al had 3 million souls kicking around inside
Huh?
him, Schrödinger couldn't recognize himself.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie,
anymore,
kind of confused about that
forcing him,
character.
And thus Alucard to fade out of existence.
So Alucard spent 30 years killing the other 3 million souls inside of him until he could return to reality and his master. He undid his own unexistence.
No matter how spoopy the threat, Alucard will show no mercy. He's just waiting for the day he meets a noble human warrior strong enough to end his unlife for good.
But should he face a fellow monster, a fool who rejected their humanity like himself, he'll let loose the dogs of war, and all hell will sing.
I'm a dog. Then you're dog food.
Okay then.
All right, the combatants are set.
You know
We've run the
what?
data through all
I feel like
possibilities.
Dio is going to win,
But first,
but I'm
if
not
you
gonna
want
lie.
the same
Their
kind of
regeneration is
confidence that
crazy.
lets you try to take over
Hey,
the
there's
world
a
with
meme.
zombie army, First off,
But, yeah.
interesting. Secondly,
I feel like this will be a
try
very
out
close
Blue
one.
Chew.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, that card looks nice. Okay, then.
You
There's the
interrupted
bows.
my dinner.
Funny, I was just thinking about having mine.
Then by all means, take a bite.
Okay, the dodges. Okay, Dio's going crazy. Okay, that is sick.
Checkmate!
Time skip. There it is.
How oh so very weak, dog. You thought you'd triumph, but it was I. Dio?
I'm sorry, the wing said it though. Oh,
If I'm a dog, your dog poop.
oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Time skip is going to be very broken. I'm sorry, I just absolutely love that move. My man literally just like summons that thing. Wait. Already? He doesn't care. Oh my goodness, he really wants Dio dead. He's already on 0. Okay, this went from Dio winning to like losing in 5 minutes.
A real vampire.
Okay then. No way he's dead already. Oh my goodness, that is so cool but so weird. No, imagine you see this guy coming up to you. What do you do? Well, to be honest with you, I guess you can't really do anything. What am I asking? Well done. Yeah, I just want to know, how are they going to kill each other if they both have, like, very crazy regeneration?
You want blood, you disgusting monster? Choke on your own.
Oh. He froze him.
I want to rule the world!
Oh my goodness. That is sick. Yeah, no, I have a weird feeling Dio is going to win this. My man is going crazy.
Empire King, bow to your new god!
Okay, but I'm not gonna lie. The wings on the eyes are really cool.
My wings to make me tame.
Okay, I know it's silly, but it kind of reminds me of Kirby. Wait. Oh my goodness. Oh! Wait, is this it? Oh, let's go. Did he win? Okay, that's cool. Dio won!
Alucard pulled out all the stops,
Oh,
but
yay.
like the bloody drink, it was in vain. Finger
What?
guns.
He may have been the king of the vampires in Hellsing, but Dio had everything he needed to clip the bird of Hermes' wings.
Alucard's strategy in most fights is to heal from an opponent's attacks until they get tired, then take advantage of an opening. But he couldn't do that here because Dio didn't really have any openings, and Alucard wasn't nearly as strong or as fast to compensate.
Alucard could survive crashing that jet and move 1,500 times faster than sound. But scaling from Stone Free and Silver Chariot, the world could punch relativistic meteors and move 1,500 times faster than light. That would make Dio nearly 40,000 times stronger and 800,000 times faster than Alucard.
Hell, Alucard couldn't even see or hurt the world in the first
I
place
see.
because he's not a stand user. And since
So in a way,
stone-mask
Dio was always
vampires
going to
from
win.
JoJo aren't weak to holy weapons like Hellsing vampires are, Hal's guns were more or less dead weight.
Plus, Alucard just had no way to get past the time stop. Even if he did, somehow, Dio could just freeze him on contact.
And considering Dio has taken punches from Star Platinum, Hal would have had trouble doing damage even if he got the chance.
Dio's far greater speed and power meant that, given enough time, he could realistically kill Alucard 3 million times in quick succession. Without any viable options for attack or openings to exploit, Alucard's soul-based regeneration meant he would run out of lives eventually, and level 0 only sped up that process.
Sure, that army's nothing to scoff at, but consider the time Dio's eye beams split those huge clouds.
Estimating the size of the clouds and the speed at which they moved, Dio's beams must have output an energy of over 10 megatons of TNT, enough to wipe out Alucard's army in one go, leaving him vulnerable. Just like when this other vampire, Walter, could have killed him by piercing his heart. Alucard's even admitted it
Oh, I didn't even
himself.
realize.
Hell, Alucard's
So that's why he
army is
died.
filled with blood. You know, that thing that Dio uses to heal? But Wiz, what about Schrodinger? With his powers, Al can't die unless he chooses to.
While Schrodinger's quantum immortality makes him impossible to kill normally, it
My
is
goodness, my man looks
literally
terrifying.
part of the story that Alucard cannot have Schrodinger's abilities and his greater array of powers at the same time, or else he'll no longer exist. We can't give him both Schrodinger and his standard powers without breaking the lore and rules of the character.
Even if we did, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't help him kill Dio at all, so at best it'd be a stalemate. Until Dio hypnotizes Alucard, asks him about his powers, and forces him to eject Schrody like the rest of his souls.
Shocking though it may be, Dio's overwhelming
Oh,
offense,
so he could have just
impenetrable
hypnotized him.
defense, and uniquely devastating abilities wore Alucard down until the No-Life King had no lives left.
Alucard got Dio-owned.
My goodness.
Broomstick, you tell the worst puns in the world.
That's right, and you're just gonna have to Dio with it. And hey, wait a minute, that was a pun. That's my territory. We talked about this.
The winner is Dio.
Did he just break the fourth wall? You know, I wonder, is there a JoJo character who can break the fourth wall? JoJo definitely feels like one of those enemies that, you know, would have one of those characters.
Check out Red vs. Blue Family Shatters, where the Red vs. Blue Zero crew gets up to all sorts of wacky antics. It's really fun. A lot of people who worked on Death Battle
Kool-Aid
also worked
Man?
on this show, so give it a watch.
Huh? Okay then. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I love this. I don't know why, there's something about Dio just being able to summon this thing out of nowhere. It's just, my goodness. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I just like how this one looks. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. But, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very surprised. My man didn't even, like, go to stage 1, 2. No, my man just immediately skipped to 0. Like I said, he really wanted Dio dead. But, you know, that didn't really go well. Honestly, I'm just really surprised that, my goodness, JoJo characters are broken. If this guy has time skip, and JoJo beat him, how strong is JoJo? My goodness. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I don't know yet, but I think the next battle will be Master Chief versus Doom Guy. Who knows, though. But anyway. Yeah.